Dear How the World Works. You're right about the shock therapy thing, and you're right about the newspaper bailouts, although I think it's important to preserve our newspapers, seeing as they're one of the main sources of local news, which I value. But where you're wrong is with the world-free car thing. You seem to want to do the right thing, but you see everything through your own little conservative filter. You talk about socialism like it's an evil force and not just another way of doing government. And you talk about people who support their government as tools, not just people who support their government. You are, in every definition of the term, a glass half-empty person. But this video isn't entirely about your perception, so I'll make this point brief. In a system with a totally free market, goods and services are provided in the most cost-effective way, and the only goal is the bottom line. This may sound good, but hey, it worked really well in the Industrial Revolution. What with child labor and unsafe working conditions, yeah, that's really great. And I bet the people in China are super thrilled that their unchecked market lets them tear apart our computer waste. Because there's nothing better than dying because you're breathing in pollutants because nobody bothered to put in any safety regulations. Wow, that's great. A corporation's job is to make money, and the government's job is to protect people and, by extension, their well-being. And I'd rather trust someone whose job it is to take care of me with things like drugs or healthcare or safety. I'd rather trust someone whose job it is to take care of me and make sure I'm okay than someone whose job it is to take my money. But that's neither here nor there. Putting that aside, this is about the car-free thing and your skewed view of things. Read the website. Where does it say they want to get rid of ambulances? Where does it say they want to stop people from shipping things? And where does it say we want to shut down the essential processes of commerce? Where does it say that? It doesn't. It says they want to reduce people using it for transport, which can be construed to be a bad thing. But what the website actually says, and I quote, "Take the heat off of the planet," or global climate change as you guys prefer to call it, and put it on city planners and politicians to give priority to cycling, walking, and public transport instead of to the automobile. What's so evil about that? What's so evil about trying to reduce our dependence on foreign oil? What's so evil about the idea of trying to reduce pollutants? What's so evil about all of that? Cars are a necessary evil in some situations, as your organization's press release pointed out. But that doesn't mean we can't reduce our use of them. I live in a small community. It's only about 3 miles to my school, so I can bike that distance. People who live here in town can bike to work because they only have a couple miles to go. I can bike downtown, it's just 2 miles down the road. And people who live in big cities, like San Francisco, Chicago, New York, there's plenty of public transportation. I was in Chicago recently, actually, and I didn't need to drive anywhere. We didn't need to drive anywhere, family didn't, because there were buses and trains that could take you to any part of the city, and in fact, virtually any part of Upper Illinois. And those methods can transport large amounts of people much more efficiently than having families each having their own car. Your press release says when it's raining. Well, first of all, biking when it's raining is not an issue. I've done it plenty of times. If you've got roads, it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, I can see how it could be an inconvenience, especially if you need to go to work and you wear a suit or whatnot. And so yeah, you need cars in some situations, but I don't see anywhere on the website it's saying, we're going to make you sit in the rain when it's, raining. When you're carrying several bags of groceries, these guys, it seems, are talking about basic transit. They're talking about, rather than going to a friend's house, or rather than going to work by car, take a bus or walk. When you're carrying a baby with a toddler alongside you. I got half a mind to take this camera out and film just how many people walk around with their little kids in strollers. Because that's really not an issue. On crutches. Again, necessary evil. After midnight, I live in a pretty well-lit area, but I can see your point. Without using a cab or bus to get to the train or bus station. Really? Do I have to get a map of Chicago to show you how easy it is to get to these places? Do you really think you need a cab to get to a bus station in all these areas? Come on. This is just stuff you need to do a reality check for. And that's the problem with a lot of your stuff, it seems. You just need to do a reality check and get out of your little universe and look at the real world. Let me quote another thing from their website. Let's have a look at the true cost of car ownership, for instance. Comparative studies show that in Europe, the average annual cost of a car is estimated to be around 6,000 to 9,000 euros, which is about 12,000 to, I think, $20,000, about. That is to say, a budget of around 500 to 750 euros per month, whereas the majority of large European towns, a metro, tram, or bus ticket costs around 1.5 euros per unit. Cars are also the greediest form of transportation in terms of space. The same journey by bicycle takes up 4 times less room, by bus up to 30 times less. And needless to add, cars emit 3 times its own weight in pollutants every year, whereas a bicycle does not pollute. Remember a couple years ago when gas got to over... Remember when people were making drastic life changes? People walked more, people bought scooters, people moved closer to where they work so they could take public transportation. It's just a matter of saving money, it's a matter of saving the environment, it's a matter of doing what's logical. They're trying to encourage people to basically use their cars less. It's not really saying we need a world without cars. They're saying we need a world with less cars. And I stand behind something completely that says let's pollute less, let's do what's right for the environment. That is a good thing.